If you love train travel, subscribe to Trains Are Awesome. We upload twice a week, and that way you won't miss any of our content. You can also join our community on Patreon. And finally, follow us on our social media, Instagram and TikTok.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a very rainy day here in Kalamazoo. I'm at the Kalamazoo Mall right now. Just a few hundred feet over that way is the Amtrak Kalamazoo station, and that's where we're going to take a train today down to Chicago. So today I am in Kalamazoo with the always lovely Lindsay. The Kalamazoo Mall is like a very pedestrian-friendly shopping street. It is accessible in one direction by cars, but still, it feels a lot more comfortable as a pedestrian than most streets here in Michigan do. It almost goes all the way to the train station, which makes it feel almost kind of European. Now, I'm not here to talk about Kalamazoo. Let's talk about our train. Today we're riding Wolverine 355 from Kalamazoo to Chicago. Wolverine is one of Amtrak's 3 Michigan services, the others being the Blue Water and the Pere Marquette. And this is my first time riding the Wolverine. The Wolverine has a few special features that are going to make this a fun ride today. So let's go to Kalamazoo Station and I'll tell you all about those features.
Kalamazoo Station was opened in 1887. For a long time, it served as a station on the New York Central and Michigan Central Railways. Today, it is attached to Kalamazoo's main bus station, allowing passengers from the 8 Amtrak trains a day to transfer to the bus.
So this area we're walking through right now is the bus station. And just wait until you see the train station. It is such a cute building.
The architectural style of Kalamazoo Station is known as Romanesque.
Thank you.
The main waiting hall, which was fairly crowded, acts as a ticket area for both Metro Bus and Amtrak. Although it's not possible to check luggage at Kalamazoo Station, it is possible to use the Quick Track machine to print your tickets, as well as buy bus tokens at one of these machines. The interior has a very classic look and is also dedicated to the railway history of Kalamazoo, with a large case of different railroad artifacts preserved. Amtrak has a very generous baggage policy, so if you're traveling with a lot of stuff, definitely consider taking the train. In this corridor beyond the ticket machine are the bathrooms as well as some food options. When we were there, the only food came out of vending machines, but it does look like there's some sort of station cafe in the back here. It kind of looks like a very nice college dining hall. I picked up a copy of the Michigan Passenger to read up on the latest Michigan train news, and then I heard a train horn and the Blue Water to Port Huron was pulling in.
So Kalamazoo is served by 4 round trips a day. 3 of them are Wolverines, and then there's the Blue Water, which actually goes to East Lansing and Port Huron, Michigan, once a day, 1 round trip. So like I said, the Wolverine has a few special features. The first special feature is that it is classified as a higher speed service. This means that the trains reach speeds of up to 110 miles per hour west of Kalamazoo. Now, why is that exactly? Well, that has to do with the second feature, and to see that, let's take a look at this railroad crossing. So in the United States, you can see what company owns the tracks by the railroad crossings. Now, normally Amtrak trains run on freight lines like CSX, Norfolk Southern, but this Michigan line is actually owned by Amtrak. This means that the dispatcher gives Amtrak priority over its trains, and this means that the high speeds of 110 miles per hour are attainable. So we're waiting here at Kalamazoo Station for about an hour before the Wolverine comes, but that's no problem because this waiting area is beautiful, and there's bathrooms and everything. Traveling through Kalamazoo is definitely a different experience than from Grand Rapids. This almost feels more real, like there's just people that are using the train to commute and to travel, whereas Grand Rapids feels a lot like all tourists. Would you agree with that? So why are we traveling through Kalamazoo? Well, first of all, the tickets were a little bit cheaper for this date, but more importantly, we wanted to get into Chicago on Friday night, and we live in Grand Rapids. The Pere Marquette, which serves Grand Rapids, only leaves in the morning to Chicago and gets back to Grand Rapids very late at night. And the Wolverine runs 3 times a day, so there is a morning, afternoon, and evening run. We're catching an evening train that goes from Pontiac and Detroit through Kalamazoo to Chicago. And that's the third special feature of the Wolverine. Now, the Wolverine is very convenient for travel between Chicago and Michigan, not so much between, for example, Kalamazoo or Detroit, which is why there are voices going up that are proposing to add several runs within the state of Michigan in order to make it a more viable opportunity for people that want to get into Detroit earlier in the day and leave later in the day.
While I got distracted by the Greyhound going to Detroit pulling in, I heard another train horn. Now, it was about 10 minutes before our train was scheduled to depart, so I thought, shoot, I missed the entrance of our train. But it was actually an eastbound Wolverine train headed towards Detroit and Pontiac, Michigan.
Well, right when we were expecting a train, we heard a train horn, but it's the Detroit-bound train. Ours should be here in just like 5 minutes. We're also in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Seeing primarily Horizon cars on this Wolverine does not bode well for our train.
About 15 minutes late. Here's Wolverine 355 to Chicago. Yes.
Although the train was pretty crowded on a Friday night, we managed to find 2 seats together, even if we were facing backwards. Let's talk about the seats on this Horizon car. Legroom is great for most standards, but kind of small for Amtrak standards. The trains do have a large tray table that you can put a laptop on, and that stows away with an easy-to-use clip. All Amtrak trains have power sockets, which is really nice for the long trips. The seats themselves are very cushy and comfortable, and they have a reasonable recline, but like I said, the leg room begins to get a little bit annoying after trips of 3 hours or more. Another feature I dislike about the Horizon cars is that the bright fluorescent lights are kept on, whereas on other Amtrak cars, the interior is usually slightly dimmer, especially in the evening.
Attention passengers, station stop was Kalamazoo. Next station stop will be Pontiac. Pontiac will be next in approximately 25 minutes. Pontiac will be next.
So because it's dark out, I can't really tell how fast we're going, but I know we're going fast, and it is so smooth and quiet. Lindsay's got the track your train map. How fast are we going?
104 miles an hour.
Wow. You think about it, the Pere Marquette speed limit is 65 miles an hour, and 104 miles per hour in kilometers, that's close to 170 kilometers per hour. I mean, yeah, there's European trains that go faster, but there's also a lot of European trains and almost all American trains that go slower than this, so I'm impressed.
Our first station stop was Pontiac, with no passengers scheduled to get on or off. The conductors had said that this would be a short stop.
That was Pontiac, folks. Very quick indeed. Next station stop will be Niles. Niles will be next in approximately 10 minutes. Niles will be next.
That was officially the shortest I've ever stopped at any station in my life. I don't even think it was a second.
No, I think it was 2.
As we're back at our top speed, heading towards Niles, Michigan, time to show you what the bathrooms look like in these Horizon cars. At first glance, it's just like any other Amtrak bathroom, although it has a very small lock. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Sink. Okay, Amtrak, I love you, but we need to talk about that sink. Hand dryer for after you've just spilled water everywhere. And a bench toilet. Now this is the smaller toilet. On the other side of the aisle is the accessible toilet. That one's bigger, and you can use that one if you're in a wheelchair. Trying out the other bathroom for you guys. Definitely more spacious, but kind of the same concept. Just a black toilet seat and a white blow dryer. And then it refills the toilet with yogurt? And now to wash my hands with the weird sink again. Oh. Well, that's a lot better because I don't know what the point of that other one is. The toilet is really weird. New Buffalo, Michigan.
Will be Hammond waiting Indiana in approximately 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Once again, our next station stop will be Hammond waiting Indiana in approximately 50 minutes.
soon after crossing the border into Indiana, we passed through Michigan City. This used to be a station on the Wolverine until April 4th, 2022, when the station was closed. Michigan City is still served by the South Shore Line, an electric commuter rail that runs between South Bend, Michigan City, and Chicago. We have several videos of the South Shore Line on our channel, so be sure to check them out. Our Amtrak Michigan line actually has a level crossing with the South Shore Line here in Michigan City, and soon after Michigan City, we arrive at the level junction of Porter, Indiana. The ride is about to change completely. Through Porter, Indiana, very slowly. This is where we get off the Amtrak line and onto the Norfolk Southern Chicago line, and it's also where we join with Amtrak's Pere Marquette, Capital Limited, and Lakeshore Limited. Now that we're on freight tracks going through the industrial hub that is the Indiana Lakeshore, our speed slows down dramatically and the ride becomes a lot more bumpy. We make a quick stop at Hammond-Whiting, Indiana. So this is Hammond-Whiting Station, just east of the border with Chicago and Indiana. And this is our first time stopping here because only the Wolverine trains actually stop here. All other Amtrak trains that pass through here don't stop. And even several Wolverine runs don't stop here. And now, about a minute later, we've crossed the state line and are now within the city limits of Chicago.
Please exit. We see uniform employees only. Please watch your step as it is wet. We do hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you so much for choosing us.
So I will understand and then like
So we made it to Chicago in about 2.5 hours. We actually arrived a half hour ahead of schedule. Linz, let's start with you. How did you like the Wolverine?
I thought the ride was really smooth. I just didn't like how cramped the seats were. I mean, it's not much longer of a trip than the Pere Marquette feels like, and I feel like that one is pretty luxurious compared to this, so that was a little bit weird.
Yeah, the Pere Marquette uses Superliners and the Wolverine uses Horizon cars. You may disagree with me on this, but I don't like Horizon cars. I think they look dated. The seat comfort just really isn't the same as Amfleet or Superliner in my experience, but I love the Wolverine. This was my first time riding it. That 110 mile per hour section, smoothest ride ever. We felt the bumps once we were in freight territory. I love that we're in Chicago now and we can like go to bed once we get to where we need to be. Like, didn't have to wake up early for this, got to have a whole normal day in front of us. The price was also very reasonable, especially for the speed of the service. So I will definitely be taking the Wolverine again. Living in Grand Rapids, it is an extra hour of travel time to drive there, so the Wolverine might not be faster, but with the multiple runs per day, it definitely is more flexible. I didn't love having two drunk girls sitting right behind us, but then again, I guess it's good that we're taking the train and not driving. Thanks so much for watching today. We're happy to be back in Chicago. This place really feels like home, and we'll see you next time. Please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome.